Police are asking for your help this morning to catch two men wanted for a violent crime spree. Cuthbert Langley working this one at the CJC for us. And what's the latest you're hearing?
Steve, what we know right now is that police are still searching for these two guys. They say they are interviewing people. They are knocking on doors of neighbors, trying to track down where they may be. But so far, no sign of who they're looking for. Let's take a look at the two guys we're talking about here. This is Terrence Kimbrough and Daryl Starks. They are wanted for two shootings that happened last week. Late yesterday, the two were named in multiple indictments for the crimes that happened at the J.C. Napier and Tony Sudicum public housing complexes last week. The first shooting happened late Thursday night. Kimbrough and Starks are accused of shooting a mother who was holding her 7-month-old son in her arms at the time of the shooting, and right now that mother is still in critical condition. Then just a short time later, the two men are accused of shooting two other women right across the street. Thankfully, neither woman was seriously hurt, but police have charged the two with attempted murder and reckless endangerment. Here is one more look at Kimbrough and Starks. Call Crime Stoppers if you know where they are, 7-4-CRIME. Now, these shootings last week are not the only crimes that have Kimbrough in big trouble this morning. He's also wanted in connection to two murders that happened late last week. Again, he is still on the run. We'll talk more about those murders coming up at 7:30. For now, we're live at the Criminal Justice Center this morning. I'm Cuthbert Langley, News Channel 5 HD.
All right, Cuthbert, thank you very much. Lights and air conditioning back on this morning in Hendersonville after a crash knocked out power to thousands overnight. A driver lost control on Curtis Crossroads, ran off the roadway through several yards and then, boom, slammed into a power pole, which immediately went down. The pole snapped, and that left 3,000 people in the dark and the heat overnight. Luckily, the driver was not hurt, and power has now been restored. NES was out there this morning, did a great job, really fast work. No word if the driver's facing any charges.
A pastor is still in the hospital this morning after he and his wife were brutally attacked on their way home from church. Bishop Alonzo Hatchett was getting out of his car when he was shot in the leg in North Nashville Monday night. His wife was then beaten. Hatchett pulled a gun and fired back but missed. We're told he and his wife are expected to be okay so far. No arrests have been made, but if you have any information, call Crime Stoppers at 615-74-CRIME.
The teenager accused of opening fire at a Perry County National Guard armory is now officially charged with murder. Christopher Farrar was behind bars since the shooting last July. TBI saying the then 15-year-old shot and killed Sergeant First Class Michael Braden. Farrar is now charged as an adult.
A woman is recovering after falling 50 feet off a popular cliff in Clarksville. Happened yesterday afternoon at Queens Bluff. The woman was taken to the hospital with a head injury, but is expected to be okay. This is the second time in 3 months that someone's been injured there. Back in May, an 18-year-old fell from the same spot but survived. Visitors to the popular hangout say the area is filled with steep walking paths and cliffs that overlook the Cumberland.
If you're just walking down here and not paying attention where you're going or where you're looking at and where you at,
you shouldn't be
then you shouldn't be coming down here in the first place.
The park is not public property and is owned by the Southeastern Climbers Coalition. They would be responsible for any safety improvements. New information surrounding the investigation into last week's deadly attacks in Chattanooga. We've just learned that Mohammed Abdulaziz has an uncle that's in custody in Jordan. We're told he was detained Friday, a day after the attacks. Computers and cell phones were taken from his home, but he has not been charged with anything. Last year, Abdulaziz traveled to Jordan and stayed with that uncle. A Jordanian government official has not released many details, only saying that several of relatives of Abdulaziz are being questioned about that trip.
Meantime, Amy, a large crowd gathered last night to honor the youngest Marine gunned down in last week's attack. Thousands took to the stands to celebrate the life of Lance Corporal Squire Skip Wells at his former high school. That memorial included the singing of the National Guard, or the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner, also the National Guard there, that plane flyover you just saw, and a balloon release.
Skip Wells is a hero. It's been said that a hero is someone who has given his life for something bigger than oneself. That's precisely what Skip did.
The 21-year-old was one of 5 service members killed during last week's attack on those 2 military facilities.